Just imagine if the government in some way had invested some funds in holding BTC as early as when it was still $200 and something. Right? At this point, we would not be talking about the whole issues and the debts that our country is in debt, serious debt. We're owing other countries. It's that crazy. Darlings, how are you guys doing? Happy weekend. I hope your weekdays was great. Your 9 to 5, if you're working 9 to 5, hope it wasn't too stressful, unlike us freelancers that we work remote from home. Okay, so on Bitcoin, it has been the major news since Donald Trump winning the election during late last week. Bitcoin has been bullish. Let's look at the Bitcoin all-time high. Bitcoin, as at last week, hit a new all-time high along its strong ETF flows, which was roughly surpassing $77,000. I know Shegun has been here and he has preached a lot. Even in the studio, he has not allowed us to hear word because obviously he has made a lot of profits. This is something that he has been saying like over time. And I think in one of the episodes, I did say that Bitcoin is something that you buy in bulk and you hold for a long period of time. So if you had actually made investments to have bought Bitcoin at the time when it dropped to, I think, roughly $54 or so thousand dollars per se, by now you would have made at least a 30% profit, if not more, actually, right? So it's just want to ensure and let you guys know that what we are saying here has a lot of truth to it, right? And we're giving you opportunities and opening to become financially free via these digital assets. Of course, yes, not only with Bitcoin. With the rise of Bitcoin, obviously the other altcoins did see a drop off. Ethereum is almost reaching $3,000 as it is, compared to its previous price of 2,600 plus. So that's roughly like a 20% increase thereabout, right? There are roughly any physical assets that you would see that kind of growth spike immediately. It just takes patience and it takes you actually watching the markets to be able to get investments or profits out of your investments, right? So also on this note, top trends for last week. Let's look at Bitcoin and Germany. Now, Germany made a loss of roughly $1 billion because in July, I think when Ethereum dropped to that 50 plus, 53, 54 plus $1,000, they got skimmish and they got scared and they went ahead to sell their Bitcoin, which was roughly about $50,000 worth of Bitcoin, or 50,000 Bitcoins that they had, right? And at that point when they sold it, it was ideally 49,858 BTC that they had. And when they sold it for $2.8 billion. But if you look at the current market, what's it called, ratings at this point in time, with Bitcoin, rising up to $77,000 per one. If they had sold it by this time, it would have been sold for $3.9 billion. So that's roughly the 1 point something billion dollars cut of loss that they made because they sold too early. It's one of the things we say. If you're buying, know that you're buying for a long period of time. Hold it for a long period of time and wait until the market climbs again before you sell, right? And this is a note to the Nigerian government. We've been saying this a lot. Just imagine if the government in some way had invested some funds in holding BTC as early as when it was still $200 and something, or even when it was still like maybe $20,000 or thereabouts, right? At this point, we would not be talking about the whole issues and the debts that our country is in debt, serious debt. We're owing other countries. It's that crazy. We would not be talking about that if we had made this future investment. So please, this is what goes to our Nigerian government, right? You guys do your research, learn about it, and see that this is actually something you should invest in. Now that the American government are keen into this, they're going to play us out of the game. And just like our guest said, we should not be the one to be at the, receiving end and taking last. I mean, we're tough people, right? When we see something that's obviously green, let us key into it. Yes, it has its advantage and disadvantage, but if you have someone who's able to watch the market for you and study it like a proper market analysis person under the government, you have a good starting and a good strong back for someone who can help you look at the market, look at the tops and the downs, and know when to invest and know when to take out your profits. So in terms of government, yes, Donald Trump has now been the 42nd or 47th US president, and he is one of the most favorite and famous pro-Bitcoin leader as it is. President Trump has always been a little bit of a critic towards cryptocurrency. That was in the early days and early years. But now, with his recent election, he had a speech where he spoke about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in a whole and how he envisions America keying into this. I hope we have that content. Let's take a quick view at it.
But I say this is the steel industry of 100 years ago. It really is. I think you're just in your infancy. I can see it happening. In just 15 years, Bitcoin has gone from merely an idea posted anonymously on an internet message board to being the 9th most valuable asset anywhere in the world. Can you believe that? Is that right? That's a big deal. Think of that. It's already bigger than ExxonMobil. Soon it will be surpassing the entire market cap of silver. And one day it probably will overtake gold. But based on the way it's going now, it could very well be a possibility. There's never been anything like it. And I don't think you've ever seen anything like it.
You heard it, right? It wasn't from me. I wasn't the one saying it. For his recent campaign, he had a lot of crypto supporters who actually supported him with funding for his campaign. And of course, people are now saying that, unquote, with a Republican-controlled Senate taking shape, Trump will be in a position to ensure a crypto-friendly regulatory and business environment. And this is a record of with 2024 cryptocurrency adoption and sentiment reports. This is something that for us Nigerians, we don't have like research statistics at this. And it's something I think it's very important. So the report shows that there was a significant increase in the US cryptocurrency ownership, with 40% of Americans now holding digital assets, up to 30% in 2023. And this is currently representing approximately 93 million Americans holding digital assets. Do we have the same statistics for Nigeria? I bet you, I don't think so. I don't think we do. These are things that we need to start taking, and our government need to start taking steps to ensure that we are at the front of this game, right? So, and of course, with the trends of his election, one of his biggest supporters has been Elon Musk, the popular to the moon and Mars man, and the creator of what do you call it now, the Tesla, and now even Neuralink. I mean, this man is just all over the place with new technology, and of course he has keyed into crypto. And Elon Musk has launched a new token, which is the X token. It went on pre-sale and it's currently at 3.95 USD for one token. I mean, it's crazy. But here's the thing now. For token holders on the platform, right, it doesn't mean that, oh, they would be using the tokens to probably buy everyday goods or whatnot. You having access to the token apparently should give you access to most of the stuff he's building. So you could have access to a free Neuralink implant. You could as well have access to the elite rocket launches and claim exclusive offerings from its different industry, and as well have the first embark for the journey to Mars when it's finally launched. So that's actually the backup of why he released the tokens. We don't know how far it will go at this point in time, but that's where we're currently at. But it's one thing I also want to hint is that for tokens, there's a difference between tokens and cryptocurrencies, right? The main difference is that for cryptocurrencies, they have their own independent blockchain, whereas on tokens are built on existing blockchains, right? So take, for example, what popular cryptocurrencies that you know of, your ETH and Bitcoin, right? Why tokens are like built on established, what do you call it, blockchains, just as your USDT, they are stable coin stable tokens and your USDC, right? So that's actually the major difference. So the X tokens is almost just like that because it's built on an existing blockchain already. All right. So moving on, now let us look at a comparison of the markets. So we have talked about like cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology and how it's actually changing these industries. Now, I went ahead to do a couple of research to put side by side real world assets and our digital assets to compare their potential. So if we take a look at Ethereum and Bank of America, Ethereum flips Bank of America. Ethereum market capital is at $353 billion as compared to Bank of America, which is $346 billion market cap. This shows you that obviously with comparison, cryptocurrencies have a very strong backing. And one of the major strong backing is the use case scenario for them. Cryptocurrencies and even Bitcoin, what gives it value is the strong use case scenario. When you have a strong use case scenario for a cryptocurrency and then you have people actually building on it or making use of it to do transactions, that's what gives it value. Another comparison we want to look at that I made a research on is Solana and Airbnb. At this point, the market cap for Solana stands at $94.23 billion compared to Airbnb. Now, Airbnb is just tied to your real world assets, which is real estate, right? It's also an asset. And it currently stands at $93.20 billion. You see the comparison, I think there's roughly about 2% difference between Solana and Airbnb. And Solana, which is a cryptocurrency, is topping Airbnb market cap. So it tells you that in the long run, cryptocurrencies are here to stay. Whether altcoins, whether Bitcoin, which is the mother of them all, it is here to stay. They necessarily may not take over regular fiat, but I believe that they would coexist side to side. So it's best to ensure that you key in so you don't lose out. And the earlier, the better. It's hence why this show is here for you and is why we decided to diversify and have a different section, which is the Onchain Series that focuses on altcoins. So you can have a full knowledge of the market in general. I hope you're connected. Okay, so moving on, in reference as well to real world assets, right? I spoke about real estate and how it ties to cryptocurrency. There's also a take of, making use of cryptocurrencies to purchase actual goods and services. And Theta is taking the lead. If we take a look at the document of Theta and the oil deal it made, of recent, Theta funds a $45 million oil deal in the Middle East. And for me, for Middle East, I think it will probably be somewhere in Dubai because those people. So the transaction covers 670,000 barrels of oil, making Theta's move from stable coins into commodities. So you see that it's actually now shifting. People are no longer just holding, right? Or just, using it to make transactions, right? They are now actually using it to make purchase on real world commodities. So if you don't key in now, when exactly are you going to key in? And in keying in, this is something we've been saying, the Niger Bitcoin Conference. Shegun has been here and he's spoken about it. And I'm here again and I'm saying it. Genuinely, if you want to have a starting point, networking events are the way to go because you get to meet a lot of keynote people. So the Niger Bitcoin event is going to be holding from December 5th to 7th. It is also going to have a hackathon attached to it. It is hosted by the likes of our very own Oluwasegun. And we will be having speakers like the like of Mr. Emotimi Agama, who is the Director General of SEC, Security Exchange Commission Nigeria. So if you're looking to probably get your certificate, this is an event you will come and network and possibly have an opening to get your certificate to operate in Nigeria fully. And we'll also have the likes of Mr. Ayotunde. He's the CEO of Luno Niger. I have the likes of Obina, which was here on the show a little bit past. He's the president of Sibin, and Josephine Oshima, and as well as Emmanuel, who is the account executive at ChainUp. A lot of other speakers obviously will be present, and you definitely do not want to miss it. I will be there. Definitely. Okay, and of course, for the hackathon has a prize pool of $3,000. As the last time, I'm sure I did a very thorough explanation for you guys, right? So ensure that you register. The prize pool is being split into 1,500, 1,500. So set up your team, participate in the hackathon, and ensure that you can. There are prizes to be won. You don't necessarily have to know it all, right? But you have to at least have a core basics. Do your research, build something creative. It could be anything. It just has to be tied to the blockchain. All right. So rounding up before we finally go through, there are also events in line of like DevCon. DevCon is an Ethereum focused event that happens every year. And for this year, it is happening in Bangkok, Thailand. So if you're going to be traveling this period, if you're someone who is keen on participating on hackathons and, core events in the Ethereum community, it is one you should key into. It's going to be happening from November up until November 12 until November 15, right? So keen. We did have like some top picks for the event, but we have limited time. But if we can just go through all the top picks on the screen we have, you can choose from any of the sub events to attend. And I would say for a closing, as much as you're attending your festive season and these events, ensure to be safe, because they are kidnapping people. Please ensure to be safe. A CEO recently was kidnapped. I think what's his name? Wonderfy CEO or something. So please, guys, ensure that you are safe this period, in as much as you're attending this event, all right? I believe that's a wrap. I've had a great time. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Please as well continue to invest and ensure that you're checking the market so you don't make a loss. I've had a great time. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I would see you next week on the show. Channel 189 Popcentral Onchain Series session. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead, guys. Bye-bye.